part 11 to the Sonic.EXE tutorial series. This part is probably going to be super long. Also, I forgot to mention, but my voice is a little bit scratchy right now, so just excuse that. In this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you the best way I can of how to make a boss fight in your Sonic.exe game or just your Sonic fan game. Because this is a Sonic.exe tutorial series, I just used Sonic.exe as an example. But you can apply this to any Sonic fan game, whether it's EXE related or not. If you haven't seen the preview video of what I'm going to end up making, if you still want to go look at it on its own, then you can view it. That should really be it. Onto the tutorial. Okay, so normally I would show off what we're gonna make, but because this is a bit of a long thing and I want to save as much time as possible, I'm not gonna show it here. But if you want to see what we're gonna make beforehand, you can go look at the part 11 preview video, which I will link in the description below if you can't find it, if you're watching this far in the future. But if you're watching this around like just when it came out, then it shouldn't be too far back. Just watch it there beforehand so you can get an idea of what exactly I'm gonna make, but most likely you're making your own boss battle and you just want to learn about some things from here. So let's get started. So as always, the test level act X, we're gonna copy and paste that, and we're gonna have to delete everything from the level here. So of course, first make a copy, make sure you name it. I'll name it 2011X boss fight. I'll drag it down to the bottom here. Like I said, you want to delete all the objects and everything in here except for all the stuff over here. So the goal maker, this guy, the two triggers here, the boss trigger and the boss cam, all that you want to just move out of the way. And then make sure you don't delete the starting point. Everything else here can go. Of course, don't delete any GUI. Maybe lock or hide the layers so that way you can't select them, just like that. And I'm just gonna get going. And also don't delete the water. It shouldn't select it if you're dragging out like this, but in case it does, make sure you unselect it because you do not want to delete the water. Now that we have everything deleted here, just quickly run the application and make sure that it runs properly, which it does for me. So like I said, just remember, don't delete the water, don't delete the starting point, and don't delete any of the boss stuff over here. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but my voice is very scratchy today. I'm very sick while recording this, and I really should not be recording this, but anything for the YouTube grind. I'm kidding, I am not on a YouTube grind. So for boss battles, I'd recommend having the area just around the middle of the stage if the level is going to only be for the boss battle. If it's going to be like a whole level you have and then it'll transition to the boss battle, then that's fine. Just have a little mini area where your boss battle can take place, which is what I am creating right now. I already have it in the other frame, so I am probably just gonna I'll have this, and then I'm probably just gonna copy and paste these right here. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna copy and paste. Just get these, make sure they're on layer 3, and I'll just try to center them the best I can get them. So now we have this little mini area for Sonic to fight the boss. So now we actually need the boss cam and the boss trigger. You can copy them or you can just drag them down. I'm actually going to copy them because it still works. And I'm going to paste them around here. Make sure they're in layer 3 as always. And how the boss cam works down here, or the boss area as it's called, basically this is literally the boss camera. This kind of determines where the camera is gonna go when this gets triggered, which is the trigger to trigger the camera for the boss. So say I dragged this all the way down here, if I touch the trigger it would go down to here. So basically we want it to be up here in the center the best we can. I would just say use a line and frame, but that doesn't work because the entire level is one massive frame. So around maybe here, let's see how this looks. Yeah, that looks alright. And because we want this to automatically start, because I want this to automatically start, I'll just put the trigger right on top of Sonic here. And just for an effect that I want to do, I want to drag the water up, so that way when looking at it in game here, you can kind of see it right down there, and I think it's just a pretty cool effect. It's nothing much, but I think it's kind of cool. Another thing is I want to give Sonic at least one ring to start off with. Don't be the guy who makes a boss battle and then doesn't give Sonic any rings. Don't do what Sonic 2 did. Give him at least one ring. If you want to give him multiple rings, you can, but one ring is all he really needs. Alright, so now we want to get 2011X in here, which is who I'm going to use, and I have the whole sprite sheet right here, where I'm going to get the animations. So as you can see, I have a bunch of different 2011s all over the place. This is the one I'm focusing on right now. He just has an animation of standing for a little bit and then moving his head up to here and then kind of sitting there for a bit too. This is just so that way in the code I can set it to when animation is finished, then we can continue with the game. These down here aren't going to get used. This one is going to get used too. Just a real quick review on making animations. So say you have a sprite sheet here and we want to get the idle animation here. We'll copy that, go into this active, we'll make a new frame here, make it transparent. We'll copy this first, and then we'll crop out the first frame. We'll copy that first frame, and then crop out this, and do that. Copy this. Go to the, go to the next frame. Copy that, and now we have this animation here. And because these are all the same size, we don't really have to worry about changing the position of him. He's all just right here and ready to go. So that's just a quick overview on setting animations in here. I'm just gonna copy him straight from here, but just so you can set up animations in your exe, that is how to do it right there. Alright, so I'm just gonna have him on the other side of the screen right here, so that way when we start in here, he's kind of just there waiting for us in a way. Health bar, couldn't forget that. So I have a health bar up here ready. This is just the icon for X, and this is the actual health bar. You may have to manually make animations of every little thing going. This skips 2 pixels each time, I think, just because when testing it I realized this would work better and be quicker. So this is just what I have for my health bar, and then the X icon there. So for any GUI, I would recommend putting it on layer 7. So I'm just putting this in the top right corner. I don't know why that took me a few seconds to think of, but just up there, and this already has it set. But if you're making any GUI, always uncheck follow the frame right here. You don't have to uncheck these or change these. If you want to, you can, but always uncheck follow the frame whenever you're making any kind of GUI. Okay, so now we want to quickly change the music so that way we can have our own custom music, because most likely you want to change that. There are 2 ways you can do this. You can either, one, change it to this right here, which would be any boss music, so that way it can sync up with the Simple Sonic World's code for it, or you can just have it start here and then delete this and just have it play on its own. So for me, I'm gonna have it play here, so I already have it in here somewhere. It's gonna be this right here, which is the Sonic Forces boss battle theme for Metal Sonic, which, fun fact, is actually a remix of the US version for the Sonic Generations boss battle music for Metal Sonic. This is a quick preview of what it sounds like. Okay, you get the idea, hopefully. One of the best Sonic boss musics, in my opinion. all the Frontiers ones, like Undefeatable, Find Your Flame, and all that, those ones are pretty cool as well, but this one, in my opinion, is the best one. Something I want to do is adjust the volume because it is a bit loud, and for some reason I have to do it with an always event. I tried doing it on the start of frame and it would not work, so I'm gonna have to do it on a noise event. So set sample volume, choose the boss music you pick. I'm gonna set it to 60. That obviously depends on the music you're using, so now it should do this. Alright, so as you can see, the music plays. We got X right here. So now we can actually start making X do some things. Let's make a whole group for Sonic.EXE himself. So 2011 X boss fight. So for this, you can start by making a start of frame. We don't need it right now, but eventually we are going to need that start of frame. What we are going to need is checking if X's animation has finished and his stopped animation, because what I want to do is once he is done doing that animation of like looking up, I want him to teleport to the top middle of the screen and start doing stuff. So when animation stopped is over, what I want to do, I'll play a sound effect for him teleporting, which is just going to be the text appear sound effect from the original Sonic.exe that I just happen to have for some reason. So I'll just have that. I'll also have him go invisible, and then I'll set his position. I'll have to go look at what the exact chords are for the top here, but it should, see, I gotta figure it out every time because I make this in a different position. This is probably best and closest to the middle I can get. And about the movement here, it's it wasn't movement 0, I think. It was movement 1. Yeah, it was. Okay. So with the movement here, this is just so he can kind of smoothly move up and down. He already has it in here, obviously. This is just the simple ellipse movement. I put 0 on the x-axis so that way he doesn't move side to side. He only goes up and down by just a little bit. And the central x coordinate, it's not going to be the exact coordinate of where he goes. It's just going to be the center of it. So I'll see how that works with the movement, but it's going to be 1560 and 630 are the coordinates that I'm going to bring him to. So the x-axis is 1650, and then the y coordinate is going to be I forgot already. Was it 560? I forgot. 630. Where did I get that from? I also realized I messed up the other one too. I cannot remember these really well. I forgot it again. Are you kidding me? Was it 670? 630. I can't believe I forgot that again. Okay, 630. So that'll bring him to that position there. And for him teleporting, I want him to have a little flash animation whenever he teleports, which is just going to be this right here, which is just the giant ring flash from Sonic Mania. So I just want to have that whenever he flashes or teleports, I mean. As always, bring that on layer 3. I should actually make sure everything else here is on layer 3. Yep, we're all right. I want to create the flash on him as he teleports. So right here, we'll create that. Going to be at the x and y coordinate of him. So I'll just copy that. And for y coordinate, just same thing, but a y right there. And on layer 3, or just whichever layer is going to be the main object layer. This is just for if you want to have a flash when the EX is teleporting. For flashing also, or any kind of effect, if the animation is over, then you want to destroy the effect so that way it doesn't load up the object limit in the frame. So what we're working on right now is just kind of a kind of introduction into the boss battle, so him kind of getting ready to start fighting you. After he stops here, I think I want to give it like 1 second, I think. And then I want to make this timed event say start. We're going to use a lot of timed events for this. Make sure that's the exact same, so that way it calls it properly. And I'm going to play this again, and I'm going to do this again to kind of show him teleporting back. And because he's already there, I don't have to set him to be there. I make him reappear and change his animation to be floaty. I left him up here first of all and never brought him back down, but he did go up there, and he was a bit too far up, so let's bring him down. To actually, no, because of the way Clickteam is, we have to make this go higher to bring him lower. So let's do that, and then in here we'll have to do that too. So let's see how this looks. So from this point on, the movement I put on X completely messed up his entire teleporting system, and I was getting really mad about it and ended up just giving up on it. And my voice is still really dead today, but I've watched too much DA games, so now I am full of energy. And back to the tutorial. Goodbye. Okay, after a lot of testing around and a lot of me being pissed off because of him just disappearing for no reason, I finally fixed it, and apparently the movement just completely breaks him for some reason, most likely because these numbers are inaccurate. So that's just in my case, so I'm not gonna go in depth with that because that's just in my case. But if you still want to do it, then just change the numbers here. Okay, so to start off the first phase of the boss, basically what it is 2 big rings appear on the corners here, and these little clones of Sonic.EXE go in and out between them, and every now and then faker, I guess, with a monochrome effect on him will go by, and he moves a little bit slower, and that's what you hit to actually deal damage to X. So to do that, I'll just copy all of these objects and bring them in here. I'll want to like check the corners here, check their positions, and try to get like that should be fine right there, these numbers. So 1390 and 820. Okay, first we're gonna need to do another event after 2 seconds, which is start phase 1, which is what I'll name it, and do that there. And basically we'll create the ring object. Alright, I already forgot the values again. Create the big ring at, first one we'll do at 1360. Did I remember the coordinates right? I don't know. And then 820 on layer 3 as always. Let me make sure I got those right. 1390. What is wrong with me tonight? And then I'm going to bring this one all the way to the other corner. So just to be quicker, do that. So bring this one all the way to the other corner and try to find the best position for that. 1750, that's good enough for me. So let's create another big ring object. So just still get this big ring, and the X coordinate's gonna be 1750, and the Y coordinate can be the same, which is 820 on layer 3. And I'm gonna play an effect that's automatically in this engine, which is the big ring effect from Sonic 1. Okay, so now we have that there, so that way they can appear right there. Another thing I also forgot is that I want him to do a taunting voice. I already have all these voices here, so this is the one I want to use to start off with.
Your death is certain.
It's kind of as a starting threat, as a taunting type thing, like what the old 3D games do.
Your death is certain.
Alright, so that works just fine. I did also just happen to notice Sonic.EXE wasn't in the perfect middle of the frame, so I'll just adjust that there. But now that we've done all that, we can create the inner group, which can be this can just be phase 1. At the start of the frame, this is where we want to deactivate phase 1, and start phase 1 here is obviously going to activate phase 1. So what phase 1 is going to be is, like I said before, him going, the clones coming out back and forth. So to do those, we'll get an every timer. We'll start with just every 1 second. We want to create there's an R and an L for me for right and left, so the right one, we'll do that, and we'll start him in the same position that the right ring is in. So that was 1390, and then the X 820 on layer 3. So that way we have him there, and because I set it to not move at start, I'll need to go over here and manually get him to start moving right there. And then what I want to do is, for destroying him, find him on here, compare the X position. We don't have to worry about the Y. We want to smack in the other side, which is 1750 for the other ring. Set is it greater or equal to that, then that is when we destroy him. But we'll also, I'll just copy this for creating the flash effect, but we'll change those to be the position of the chasing clone. So this here, X coordinate, I'll just copy that and change the X to Y on layer 3. So that way we get the flash effect of them going in the ring, and we will also just play the sample there for them going in the ring, and that should give us this effect. So as you can see, he keeps coming out of that ring and going in this ring. You can kind of think of it like it's creating new ones and they're getting destroyed in this one, or you can think of it like he's coming out of this ring and then teleporting between each ring. So we're going to do that again for the other side. On here we want to change it to, is it lower or equal to 1390, and we want to destroy the other guy. So that should add it onto the other side as well. Okay, so yeah, as you can see, they're going back and forth like that, going in and out. It's working well. Now we want to get a little faker guy to go through. So this guy has the same exact bouncing ball movement. He can only go that way, except he goes a little bit slower than the rest of them, and he has a monochrome effect on him. So for this guy, let's just copy one of these, but let's make it say every 5 seconds, let's say. I don't know if that was the exact values last time, but every 5 seconds we'll create the other guy here, and these can all be the same. But then we bring it over here. This faker, we start his movement, and then X position here. Change this to be the faker here, and then we destroy him here, and that should be the faker guy. So these guys are going, but after a little bit, a black and white, yep, there he is, and he gets destroyed. And after another 5 seconds, another faker comes through, and that's that. So now we want them to start being able to attack us when they collide with us, unless we are in attack mode. So basically what we can do is, if the red box, the player character sensor, is colliding with, let's start with the right faker. So if it's colliding with him, and under the movement values, if we are let's start with if we are not attacking. So if he hits us and we are not attacking, we want it to hurt us. What I also am gonna do is just destroy him when he hits us. Under here we want to set values and set hurt to 1. What this does is basically makes it so that way, if kind of like if we were to get hit by a spike or an obstacle without attacking, it would just like knock out the rings like usual. that's just what the hurt value does by setting it to 1. So we want to do that, and then we want to copy it here. Actually, what I might want to do, play a little sound for if it gets hit. So let's have this hard laugh sound effect that I have. So I'm just gonna play that when we get hit, and now here we want to change this to 1. So if we are attacking in any way, so basically if we're in the if we're jumping, if we're just in the spin ball mode, then we want it to not hurt us. But what we do want it to do, so this thing right here, which I just copy and pasted from the boss group, but basically in the movement values, you set the Y speed to be the Y speed itself times -1, and then you do the same thing for the X speed. Just set the X speed to the X speed itself times -1, which that kind of bounces you away when you hit it, so that way you don't just go straight through it. So it should still destroy the clone there. Instead, let's play a hurt right here, if it'll play. This is just the hurt sound from Sonic.EXE to Disaster. And now that should give us this here. So as you can see, he does attack us and he laughs, but we try to jump on one of them if I can. As you can see, he bounces off of it when it hits us. Now basically we do that, the exact same thing for the left guy, and then for the right one we're also going to do the same thing, except we will do a few other things, since that one is going to be the guy who is going to actually, like, when we hit him, it actually deals the damage. Okay, so guess what? I forgot to unpause the recording. I am totally not in the mood for doing this tonight. I'm all over the place. So all I did was add more thing. I think this is the point where I paused it. I hope it is. If not, then hopefully editing me will get it all under control. But if I'm thinking of the correct point, I basically added this for the other chasing clone to attack and do this stuff, and then for the faker guy here, it does the same stuff here, except it'll play a voice line of just Exeller yelling no. And this all does the same stuff, but where was it? It was up here. This forces the animation frame of my health to subtract 1, just because I don't have a value it's connected to. So at start of the frame, I had to set it to its maximum health. So if you have a value, you just subtract 1 from that value, or in my case, the animation frames. And hopefully that's the point where I stopped at. That is all of phase 1 basically, and what I was doing was showing how after a certain amount of time, when the health goes down a little bit, we want it to start going to phase 2. So what I had him do was deactivate phase 1 so it stops doing stuff, destroy any of these guys left and the big rings, and then make him invisible, and then create the flash on him to show he's teleporting, creating a timed event for starting phase 2, which is right here, and that's when I realized that it wasn't recording. And then it plays the ring sound, the text up here, and a voice line that I guess I will just play again so you can hear it.
If you want something done right, you have to do it yourself, I suppose.
And then it deactivates phase 1 right here. And you do have to have an only one action when event loops here, and then on the start phase 2, that is where we left off, which is going to activate the phase 2 group, which we will make right here. This is when I realized that I paused it but then forgot to unpause it, which was my mistake. What the next phase is a very iconic type of fight that you might have seen in some EXE fan games before, mainly Nightmare Beginning and probably some others, where he bounces around in the spin ball and then for a second kind of opens up into what was the victory pose in the Sonic 1 prototype, but just as EXE. And when he opens up to that is the only time you can hit him, but when he's in the little ball form, you can't hit him. It just phases right through. And I have it right here as this object just bouncing X, and it's all it is, just Sonic's spinball, and then the open mode is just this frame right here, which is included on this sprite sheet here. So I'm just going to copy and paste him here so I have him. And basically what this guy has is a pinball movement right here, which is very underrated in my opinion. It allows you to set gravity and speed for how much it bounces, and it does not have automatic collision. You do have to manually set collision for it, but since we're using a bunch of backdrops here, it's very easy to do. It can get a little buggy sometimes and get stuck in the wall, which is why what I'm going to do is have a separate object be a hitbox for it. I didn't do this beforehand, but after noticing some bugs that happened, I am going to end up doing it. Hopefully it shouldn't happen again. I'm just going to make it like a black box like this. You could even just like take the animation of this and actually just make it that, just to make it easier, is like a tiny little let's rename it to phase 2 hitbox, and then we'll make that invisible at start, and we'll just set that to always follow him when we're ready. A few things to do in phase 2. On event start phase 2, activate the group obviously, so that way it starts doing some things. Okay, so the only other thing was creating Sonic to kind of appear in the top of the screen to start bouncing around, and then creating the flash with him too. So in that case we can find him here, set his X coordinate to be like around the center of the frame, which I'll just do that, and then we're also just going to create the flash at there to kind of show an effect of him teleporting. So on phase 2 here, I'm going to have an on group activation just to check a few things when he starts moving around. So I think actually all it is just setting the flash there as well, just kind of as a backup in case this doesn't work here, because there are some cases where it does not work for some reason, so this is kind of just that backup right here. And then I also just play the text appear sound here, and then what we wanted to do was have an always event, and we wanted that hitbox to always follow the bouncing X. So always set what we can actually do, select position relative to bouncing X, and we can always just have that there. Now basically we want to add some quick collision, so that can just be for our hitbox. Because our whole area is surrounded with backdrops, we can just do if it collides with a backdrop or a background as it puts it. Then on bouncing X under movement, we want to bounce it. Just deactivate phase 2 at start.
Want something done right, you have to do it yourself.
Okay, so as you can see, it does bounce. It gets stuck, I guess. Also, something I realized for the faker here, when he reaches a certain point, I forgot to change the flash to be the faker's position when he reaches the ring, and not the left guy's positions. Something else to do in here while I'm at it is no, actually not. Yes, actually, what am I thinking? However often you want him to go into the little open phase. So for me, let's say let's do every 4 seconds. I am going to change his animation to be the open one, and then while this is going, I'm going to quickly fire it 1 second event, just call it close, and then on the timer event of close, we are going to set his animation back to just the stopped one there, so that way he can go in and out of the little phase here. So I'll go through this again and test that out to be sure it works.
Something done right, you have to do it yourself.
So as you can see, he's bouncing around, And he does end up going back and forth to the next phase. I don't know why he is just only switching back and forth and then eventually like losing this momentum. I'm not sure why he's doing that. Maybe it's cause of the hitbox here, I guess. I'm gonna just try setting it to this and we'll just see if that ends up bouncing better, and if so, I'll just use that despite the bugs that it can create. So now we want to, while we're at it, we just want to make it where if we collide with another object, which is this one, we want to check if the current animation is open and we are attacking. So movement, compare values, attacking is 1. I feel like I'm missing something on there. I remember what it was. It's if he's visible, because I was going to do something where we set him invisible. So if he is, so check if he's visible as well. So if he's not visible, then it shouldn't hit. So if we hit him like that, just like in phase 1 with the health here, say we want to subtract 1 from the health, and what I want to do just for cool effect is bounce him. So we hit him. Actually, I'll bounce him anyway, but we're gonna make it invisible, and then I was gonna create the flash there to kind of show him teleporting, and then we would end up firing an event after maybe 2 seconds, say return. So then on event return, we kind of want to do this up here. So drag this back down here. You can drag this back down here. Let me see. I think that's all there. Because yeah, then everything else just keeps running, and then that should loop good. So let's test that out and make sure I got that right.
Want something done right, you have to do it yourself.
Okay, yeah, it's clearly bouncing better when I'm just using that. So let's say if I can hit him, he goes in that phase for a bit. Alright, yeah, he teleports and he eventually comes back. There are some sound effects that I forgot to add, which we can add. There's a few things to adjust. So there are some sound effects I forgot to do. So there'd be this one, which I'm just gonna copy from here and make it do that. So it's the hurt and the no. And another thing on here, if you're gonna do this bouncing thing, you can have it all direction here, but take out the straight up and down ones, because if you noticed what actually happened, it went straight up and down. It would not go anywhere. Like even with this one here, it would go somewhere, but we don't really want it to go straight up and down. So that's just all starting position there. So that should adjust that fully, and I think that should be phase 2. So but let's just see. Alright, let's see how this goes. So when he gets big, I don't know if it worked. Okay, that seemed to work better. I don't know what happened before. And I think yeah, see, like I said, it gets a little bit buggy. Oh yeah, it gets a little bit buggy. Is it draining the health? I forgot to check. That's why we just create a new, okay, it is draining the health. That's why I just create a new object, so that way if it gets crazy, as long as you just hit him, it'll reset everything when you create a new object, and it'll be kind of just back to normal, just going a different direction. If we want him to hit us, which would be colliding there, let's put that here, but let's change this to if animation stopped this plane, and attacking is 0, and then we'll insert yeah, actually we still want to insert is visible, just so that way stuff doesn't get unfair. We want to do the hurt, which setting hurt to 1. We'll find the object here, set hurt to 1, so that way he hurts us there. And I think I did already set it to yeah, I did already set it. I think that's that for phase 2. So like before, after a certain amount of time, when the health, for me it'd be 5, when the health is like 1/3 of the way full, we want to destroy both that and that if you ended up using the hitbox. Of course, we'll deactivate phase 2. Just copy this, but I'll delete that sound and change the sound here to be this one, or no, it's not this one, it's this here.
Time to die, sucker.
It's kind of just like he's angry and wants to finish it type of voice. So I will go in and make sure that works real quickly. Oh, he does attack and it does work, so we'll just keep hitting him here.
Time to die, sucker.
Alright, so that transition seems. So now we get into phase 3. So we will just create the group right here, phase 3. This one is going to be absolute madness. So first, I'll explain what phase 3 is. So phase 3 is these guys jumping all over the screen here, and you can hit them to destroy them, but they can attack you. And just like the first time, you can hit these guys and destroy them, but it doesn't actually do damage, and you have to hit the black and white ones for it to actually do something. And then, sorry, there's another little thing that happens. These two guys sit on the corners of the screen, and they end up like opening their mouths every now and then and sending out and chasing like illusion type guy. And if he hits you, it throws this on the screen to kind of block your view. And it probably just does damage, I guess. I can't remember if I had it do damage or not. But say these guys, they also have a pinball movement, but they don't have any collision. They just hop from the bottom of the screen off screen, and then they fall back down. And this active object here destroys them, so that way they aren't loaded onto the frame. And they have a gravity of 10, speed of 50, but the faker one has a gravity of 5 and also a speed of 50, so that way he can kind of go up a bit more. And these are the only directions that they're allowed to move in. So I'm just going to copy all of these guys and bring them in here and try to get them in their exact positions. Oh well, that's probably the closest it'll get. So these mouth guys here, they're already checked to not be visible at start for me, but you basically can make and I just realized they're in layer 6. Why does it keep switching layers on me? Stay in layer 3. Did anything else get put in layer 6 on accident? I don't think so. Let's hope not. Another thing I forgot to copy is probably the big active object here. Just have it on the bottom here, and I don't have to change anything about it, because it's as long as they touch it, then it will destroy them. Alright, so basically in phase 3 here, hold on, let me make sure. Okay, wait, we didn't finish the transition. So we'll fire an event after like 3 seconds to kind of give the player a bit of a rest. We'll do start phase 3, and on event start phase 3, I'll bring that back up here. That's obviously going to activate phase 3. So start phase 3 is just going to be used for activating the group phase 3, which we also want to deactivate at the start here. But in here we basically I'm just going to do every 15 milliseconds we're going to create an object, but first I want to make sure I've got these coordinates right. So anywhere like around let's say anywhere around the y of 930, actually probably just it has to be the y of 930, but it can be around anywhere in between 1270 to, let's say, like 1770. So create object, jumping x coordinate. I'm going to do random range. The minimum can be 1 1270. I'm gonna hope I didn't forget the value already. Then 1770. Y coordinate was a 970, I think. Layer 3. Let me make sure I got those values right. I got the X right. It was 930 for the Y coordinate, so 930, just like that. I get what I might just want to do for effect is play the jump sound effect whenever they hop on in, so just the default, just the default jump sound. So I'll just play that, and we'll also do for setting off the faker. Okay, every 2 seconds there, we'll play the sound jump, except we will just create the faker guy instead, and we can leave all these values the same. And then we'll just set this up now. If we collide the first jumping X guy, just the normal one, we do want to bounce off of him like before in phase 1 here. Want to bounce off only if forgot to do this, only if we hit him while we are in attack mode here. Find him over here, we'll destroy him, and I'll just play the hurt sample sound, even though it's not gonna actually do damage. So then we'll copy this, change it to be the faker one, and we'll play the sound hurt, and we'll do the no to indicate it's doing damage, and we'll bounce off of it again, and we'll destroy the gray one, and then just like before, subtract 1, just like that. And we want to do if it collides with us and we're not in attack mode. So I'll just drag these down. If it's 0, so we're not attacking, we'll play the hard laugh, and then we'll do hurt, and then we still want to destroy that, and then do the same thing for the faker one. And then we also want to make sure that they get destroyed, so that would be right here. So say jumping X collides with another object. It's going to be the long active, which I think this is it. Yep, X destroyer. If he collides with that, then we're just going to destroy it. Same thing with the gray one, the faker one. We'll just destroy him when he collides with it, so that way they get destroyed. Now let's test that out. Okay, something I forgot to do was starting the movement when they spawn, because I set it to not start the movement at the beginning. So just under movement, start it for both of them. And there was something else in phase 2. I realized one of the sounds, I ended up putting it, text appear, I ended up putting it in the wrong spot. Okay, now that should work fully. Let me just double check.
Time to die, sucker.
Okay, here they all are, spawning in and hitting me. And okay, the music's just restarting. We can hit the red one, or the gray one, or that. Yeah, and it will still drain health. So this is just a small section of the first phase, and I lost my ring. Nope, I did not. I'm good. Okay, so, oh, come on. Let me just verify I can kill him. He's just got one more hit on him. Just one more hit, come on. Just one more, let me get my ring back. Okay, you see all his health is low, and it's out, so I would have killed him there. So there you go, it's possible to kill him. Okay, so now for that second part, that little second trick of these guys right here. So I think they're already set to not be visible at start. Something up here to do on start a frame is to make their animation stop, which was yeah, here, just make their animation stop, and I should probably show what they look like in here. So it's just them, it's just 2011 opening his mouth, which was the Eggman death scene in the original game, and then this closed one is just him closing it, and that's the same thing over here but flipped. What we're going to do is I should probably do an on group activation. So on group activation, I'm gonna make them reappear, but then I'm gonna create the flash effect on both of them. So it's gonna be that, create it at the X position of him, did that, and then the same up, and then, you know what, I'm just gonna go in this mode, go down here, or wherever it was, where was it, here it is, just copy copy it here, and all the only name difference is that it's X mouth 2 on layer 3, and that will help show them just appearing, and their animation's already stopped, so we don't have to worry about stopping their animation. But I'm gonna do every 6 seconds they are going to no, I'll still do change animation because of the looping effect that we're gonna eventually do. So change animation and start it as well of them opening the mouth, and then we'll get the illusion guy to just spawn right on top of the first one and then get destroyed when he hits the position of the next one. They aren't exact. Let's try to make them. Okay, there we go. That's kind of a bit easier to remember. So just 1370 and then 1770. So every 6 seconds they open their mouth. We can just have it where it creates it right there when they open the mouth. So that create the illusion one here, the X coordinate 1370, the X 820, I think it was. Actually, it'd be it's 817, but it'd be it's the floating guy here, so they'll be the same as these ones, so it is 820 in that case. And sorry, I've been dying the entire video. On layer 3. Then when the X coordinate just get greater or equal to 1770, then we will find the illusion guy, destroy him, change their animations to be close like that. Let me double check real quick. Did I have it like loop back? I did. Okay, so that should be good how it is. So just changing their animations to close like that after he reaches them. Then we'll also do getting hit by him. So it'll destroy him anyway. It'll change the sequence to close either way. In here, I already have the illusion up here, which is just these frames from the hide and seek. Just they go back and forth like this here, just as an illusion there. I didn't, and then it's like slightly transparent just to block your view. I didn't want to do the flashy background just because I didn't feel like it, but I'll paste it in there. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to do it here and then bring it to layer 6, not layer 6, layer 7 to 7 here. Make sure, like, try to get it in the best center I can, and then make sure it has unchecked follow the frame, and it is invisible at start already. So when we get touched by the faker, we'll make that reappear. Fired, yeah, just a 1 second event. I'll just do stop for stopping the illusion. And on event stop, we do that. Yeah, that'll just make it invisible there. And then I have a voice line that I will end up playing, which is this one here.
Illusion is going on a fox hunt.
I think I am gonna have to do only one action, one event loops. Okay, so that should be all of phase 3. Did I get it to subtract? I did get it to subtract health. So while I'm at it here, we will just just bring this down here and set it to be 0, so when he is completely out of his health, we'll destroy these guys on the side here, destroy the illusion one if he's out while it's like that, and then we'll deactivate phase 3, which will take away like the hitting. It'll stop spawning them, and even if there are some still on screen afterwards, they won't be able to interact with us just because of we're deactivating the group. We'll fire another event, which will be after 3 seconds. We'll do end, which is gonna like truly end the boss battle by setting us back into the normal camera mode. I'll play a voice line right here
I grow weary of your pathetic faces.
to kind of show he's angry and he's done, and we'll play the text up here sound effect to show they're teleporting. And then at end here, there is a certain command to do. This is the command right here. It's under the master camera right here, not the master camera effects, just the master camera. All these values here, they get set to 0, and camera maximum X and Y get set to frame width, which I think it's just a Clickteam thing, actually. Yeah, it is. It's in here, frame width. Yeah, there you go. It's frame width right there. That's how you get that. It's in the boss group somewhere, which in order to fully deactivate the camera, we have to deactivate a group up here in Simple Sonic Worlds, which is the boss. So this group right here, which has everything here, we just completely deactivate the boss. Phase 3 already gets deactivated, and that should basically be the entire thing. I'm gonna quickly check through it before I showcase it as done. Okay, so there are a few things I did forget to do when checking. Spawning the illusion guy, I did forget to start his animation, which on the 6-second thing here, just movement start here. I just forgot to do that, I think. Yeah, I think that was the only thing. This guy was kind of in the way here. That is basically everything. I'm gonna hope that there's nothing left wrong, and I'm gonna say this is the final result. If it's not, obviously, I'm gonna cut this out and I'll show the actual final result.
Your death is certain. Something done right. You have to do it yourself, I suppose. Die, sucker! Weary of your pathetic faces.
Okay, so everything did work properly. Maybe some timers were just going a little bit too early, but other than that, everything worked properly. So that was basically the final result right there. And that is everything. I am finally done with this. Oh Lord, I don't know if you can see in the corner. It is 10:48 p.m. right now. It is late. I need to go drink water. This is officially an hour and 43 minutes long. It'll probably be shorter because I'm gonna cut it down as much as I can. But oh my Lord, finally done. Can't believe I did this while I was really sick. I'm sure you heard me coughing and dying throughout the entire tutorial. After all that, I know that next week I will not be able to get a video out. The week after that, maybe I'll be able to. If I do, then it's definitely going to be a very short one. It'll probably be like secret rings. I think I know what the plan is going to be from here. It'll probably be like secret rings, difficulty select for lives and stuff, just like in Spirits of Hell, and then probably save select, like what I'm doing for rotting, just the same thing I'm doing. I think that's gonna be the road trip for all of the rest of the Sonic.EXE tutorial series. After I'm done with everything, the final part is going to be uploading the game to GameJolt. So whenever you see that final part upload, which is uploading the game to GameJolt, that is how you know that it's over. The EXE tutorial series is over. But for now, we're still going. This is probably going to be the longest part. It's probably going to be longer than the Hill Act 1 tutorial. But this will probably be the longest part in the Sonic.exe tutorial series. But hopefully it'll be worth it. Hopefully you guys blow it up. Of course, hopefully you guys blow it up and make it feel worth it, because a lot of people were requesting for boss battles. And that, I believe, is everything. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next tutorial. Goodbye.